You ever seen a grown man die? Tune in to NWA Samhain, where I kill Thom Latimer.
This is a special presentation for the Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast. Here's Rick Ucchino on the Believe Podcast Network.
What is going on, you guys? Rick Ucchino here for SB Nation and the Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast. NWA Samhain coming at you live from Cleveland, Ohio this Saturday night on Fight TV. My guest at this time is putting his NWA World Heavyweight Championship. There it is right there, all shiny and beautiful. It is going on the line against Thom Latimer. He is EC3. Welcome to the channel for the first time, man. Appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for having me. Do you like how the championship gold glistens in my circle light? You know,
I do. Yes, it's very shiny. It's probably going to distract me throughout the entirety of this interview.
It's like the ring in Lord of the Rings, man. It like possesses people, makes them go mad for its power.
There is something about like that championship gold, which is beautiful, but like literally, like any championship title, with the exception of maybe the WWE 24/7 title, like it with the
Can I? What's our profanity limit here?
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, let it fly.
That title. He me off more than like, yeah, you know, he's a former Impact Wrestling champion. He's the current NWA World Champion. He's a 4-time 24. Shut the fuck up. It's not a real thing. Okay.
Yes, I know that title sucked ass. But other than that, like I love championship belts. I would love to own one personally one day, but that one is very nice. And it looks like it was just made for your shoulder here.
It really, and it's like the perfect girl. You just don't know when you're going to find her, but when you do, you stalk her for a year, then you kind of creep her a little bit, then you try to get to know her, and then you just make your move. And here we are. Hey, let me ask you, because it seems like a thread within the world of wrestling. Are there too many titles, though? Are there too many?
Oof. Yeah.
Totally. There's way too many.
Yeah, there's way too many. It feels like, you know, AEW, for example, like when they had just like a couple, like that was like one thing that everybody loved about it. And now, you know, AEW and Ring of Honor together, it's like there's so many different titles on all the different shows. It's hard to kind of keep track, and it's a lot. There's a lot going on in pro wrestling, period, which is one thing that I want to get into today in this interview. But let's start with Samhain if we can, right? Because yes, Halloween season, always a fun time for professional wrestling, and offers up a little bit of something for everybody, right? You know, some promotions are a little more like Beetlejuice, others are more like the Terrifier, and y'all are promising the most diabolically violent pay-per-view in the 75-year history of the NWA. That's a mouthful right there. So for those who are tuning in on Saturday night, it sounds like they're going to get more of a Terrifier than they are a Beetlejuice.
Well, I've never seen the Terrifier. Lord knows I know Beetlejuice like the back of my hand. I would like to hopefully find it in between there. I definitely don't want to like people to tune in Saturday, or especially the fact that I was selling this pay-per-view to children at a school today. I don't want them walking into fucking Saw either. Although maybe they need to see it. But yeah, so we're promising what you said, violent and diabolical. I think that's good marketing, and it's in jest. But I do think too, violent doesn't mean there's going to be, we're just going to, you know, trade in headlock takeovers for trash cans, or we're going to trade in belly to back suplexes for light tubes, or, you know, I guarantee there's going to be a rubber chicken with thumbtacks in it, just because I have an insight with the Brothers of Funstruction. But yeah, violent, diabolical, sure, buzzwords, cool. But what really, really, really want to do is push forward our new era, our new direction, and deliver quality content, wrestling, entertainment, physicality with purpose, storylines that make sense, characters that you want to see, whether you want to see them win or you want to see them lose, the simplicity and beauty of professional wrestling, hopefully in a nice, tight package.
I don't know what your tolerance level for carnage is in movies, but if it's not high, I don't suggest watching the Terrifier or the Terrifier 2, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
I'm not a horror guy.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. I'm more of a suspense guy. I do like slasher films, but like I don't know. There is a certain level that I can take. And it's the same with my professional wrestling too, by the way. There's only so much, like when you start pulling out barbed wire beds and crap, like I'm like a 4-year-old girl cowering in the corner. Like I really don't want to see what's going to happen next, because like you said, storylines, things making sense.
Now, when you upgrade it though, with like a barbed wire board, like if we're doing that every Tuesday, it's stupid. But hypothetically, let's just say the king of the death match, Matt Cardona, wants to challenge me for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, maybe even post this pay-per-view. And I find it so hilarious. He's called the king of the death match that we decide to do what I want to consider the ultimate death match to end all death matches. Then maybe we bust it out because it's nostalgic and it makes sense. So, everything's fine in moderation. That's what my sponsor said at 12 steps.
Thom Latimer, who you're going to be putting the title on the line. This is a guy you have a fair amount of history with.
Yeah.
It's you two in a no limits match, trying to find that right balance. Like I said, you were at a school today selling this, for kids to watch. So like, how far are you guys willing to take things this Saturday?
I think we're willing to take it as far as anybody possibly humanly can because we have the richest prize in the game on the line. But when I talk about no limits, and I think I covered this in one promo, like I don't want the gaga and the gimmicks and like the gizmos. We don't need it. We're willing to put it all on the line based on the mere fact we're two physically dominant alphas swinging D's back and forth. Who we are. Who is the better man that day? Who is the better man overall? And I think within the physicality of the combat we can portray, no limits doesn't mean we need a bunch of dumb shit. We just need 20 to 25 minutes to lay it all out there.
Sure.
Put it all on the line, show the world who we are. Like I say, Thom Latimer is one of the best wrestlers I've ever wrestled and does not get the credit he deserves. I'm indestructible. I'm an overman. I'm damn near a demigod. So we're willing to take it all the way. But one thing I wanted to preface is that this little feud of ours started because of a steel chair. I look at a steel chair in wrestling, it's kind of your sword, so to speak, right? So if we're harkening back to combat and duels, Middle Ages, like a sword is like it's a weapon of honor, it's a weapon of respect. It's something we can both be equipped with. If he wants to bring it into play, then by all means bring it into play. But if he doesn't and wants to settle this as we should, the option is his. So that's why it's no limits.
I like it. This is a very dynamic card that's been put together too for this show. Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse. He's going to be wrestling his first official match since 2019. I think only like his fourth in the last 13 years plus. Having him involved in the card in this trios match that has him teaming up with the Brothers of Funstruction. That's a nice little addition for those who are going to tune in on Saturday.
Yeah, man. I bet the psychology is going to be off the charts. I bet it's going to be Malenko-esque technicalities in that one. But no, it's cool. Violent J loves wrestling, and he's cultivated quite a unique following and fan base. So cool to him. It's funny, Violent J is on our flyer. As the champion, I'm making sure this building sells out. And that means I have to I'm never above doing whatever it takes. One of these things is I'm going around the town putting flyers into things, bring them into places. And here I am, the World Heavyweight Champion. And someone's like, hey, what's this? Holy shit, is that Violent J? And I'm like, yep. He's like, oh, I'm going for sure. I'm like, good. Great.
That's why you brought us in.
Doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it is fun. I'm looking forward to, this show, and it is an exciting time, exciting weekend for NWA, but it's an exciting time for the company as a whole because Billy Corgan recently announced the revival of the territorial system with NWA Exodus Pro Midwest being revealed as the inaugural affiliate territory, and you're going to have a major hand in this, are you not?
I am, and like everything I've been building from the days of CYN, like this is what it was supposed to be. This is what it was supposed to become. So just because the initials and the name have changed, it doesn't mean CYN was never CYN was never a promotion. It was always a platform for people to tell their story, whether it's somebody under the radar who wants to be known to the world, or if it's somebody who wants to reinvent themselves. That is what I wanted to create. Now I went through hell and back based on frivolous lies and insanity. But regardless, at the end of the day, what it would eventually culminate to is what Exodus is. And that's almost a feeder system for something bigger, but how do people get noticed? How do people get opportunities? They have to go to places and learn their craft and cultivate their personality, much like I did with an OVW or an FCW. Like those places don't exist anymore. So William putting it on the line, kind of reinventing the territories. I wouldn't say it's reigniting them because the business has changed so much where a territory we can't run every 3 to 4 days a week. It's not going to be like that. But the idea of being affiliated and territorial, businesses change, the content comes out differently. People are noticing people in different and unique ways. And then that's just giving us a platform to launch people into the stratosphere.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the business has changed. You look at the landscape of pro wrestling, there's more talent than there ever has been before. Athletes are bigger, faster, stronger. They can do some. They can do. I mean, they are. You mean you look at the big boys who can, freaking fly through the air that they didn't, or at least maybe the athletes back in the day could do that, but they didn't show that they could do that. But there's also more of these little pop-up independent promotions than I think that I've ever seen before. I can think of at least 4 or 5 in the greater Cincinnati area where I'm at alone that I've seen advertisements for recently.
Yeah, I was just in Cincy.
You were at Battle of the Burg, were you not?
Well, yeah, I believe so. Wrestled Lord Crew.
Yes, Lord Crew. Yeah, big fan. And while all of that is great, while having options is great, like you said, it can be kind of hard to stand out there a little bit. There are some promotions that some talent may need to kind of like stay away from. And you know what I'm talking about there is the ultimate goal here to be able to kind of like expand this network of affiliates here and just kind of create like a clear path for the superstars of tomorrow and kind of give them the proper guidance that they truly need.
Yeah, I think that's necessary. And it's kind of where I found myself in the past few years while still, hell, I'm the world heavyweight champion. I'm at the top of my game, but I can only be this world heavyweight champion for another 5 or 8 years, right? So someday I'm going to have to pass that proverbial torch. But I do find great fulfillment in helping and guiding. It's not telling people what to do. It's giving my insights and opinion and hopefully them becoming better versions of themselves, which translate into their work, their character, their presentation, and their effort. So the network thing I think you said is very important, like creating a network of like minds that can provide a clearer path. I don't know if the path will ever be super clear.
Sure.
If there's notoriety and, eyeballs on something we're doing, it's coming from everywhere. And then that leaves the door open for anyone to succeed.
I've often had a relationship with professional wrestling, sort of like Kevin Costner with baseball, right? Like, how can you not be romantic about professional wrestling? And in a world, I'll say that again. I'm sorry.
That's Moneyball, though. That quote.
It was Bull Durham, actually.
Oh, so Brad Pitt said in Moneyball too.
Did it? Oh, yeah, he did. I forgot about that. Yeah. But Kevin Costner said it in Bull Durham first. Regardless, we're both right.
In my mind.
Yeah, we're both right about that. Or actually, it might have been Susan Sarandon. It doesn't matter. It was definitely in Bull Durham too. But in a world where everything is bigger and better, and everything has to be a spectacle, and you've got these experience with these big shows where everything has to be this Emmy level award-winning production, and the pyro budgets are bigger than some school districts have in this country. Is there I don't even know how to describe it, like a calming, like old school feel to getting back to the basics of doing these territory type shows that you've been doing the last year and just kind of having fun and focusing on professional wrestling?
I think simplicity, with everything you mentioned, we've lost focus on simplicity. And simplicity doesn't mean you're not working hard, and simplicity doesn't mean you're not delivering quality and entertainment. But I think by trying to outthink and out budget and out blow things up, we're losing focus on what is truly the core of this industry, which is captivating personalities fighting for themselves, for riches, for honor, for these things and these stories that we can tell. So being able to take a step back, I think everybody I think each and every promotion from the top to the bottom should take a step back and reevaluate why we're doing this, because what we're doing now has gone so far out there. We're kind of working within a niche. We talk about everything being bigger and better, and this maybe to a minority of fans, but I think we've also left a lot of fans hanging who are not clued in as much as you or I or the people watching or listening to this, where I use Marvel often as an analogy. Like, I've seen Infinity War, but I can go back and watch Iron Man and still love it
Yeah.
but it's far, far simpler. And it sets the tone for a lot of things that happen, where I think we're trying to get to Infinity War way too fast, where we're not having Thor 1, Captain America. We're not having Iron Man. We're just kind of like, we expect people to know things without telling them the things they need to know, mostly who we are and why we are here.
And that's how you wind up with the Justice League.
Snyder Cut was all right, man.
It was all right. It was all right. It is very fitting that.
You're right, though.
Yes. Look, man, that's immediately what I thought about. I was like, oh my God, I thought you were going to drop that at the end. And it was like, this is how we get to this, to the League, because they totally rushed that with the DC. They tried to do what Marvel did over the course of 10, 15 years and tried to do it in 3.
You're introducing a new Batman versus Superman? What are you, nuts? Like, give me an origin, or not even an origin, because I've seen the origin, but give me a standalone, right? And man, I was always a DC guy over Marvel too, so that's why it's so heartbreaking.
I get you. Now, it is very fitting that the kicking off of this territory phase is happening in Cleveland this weekend, because I feel like, and maybe this is an Ohio against the world kind of thing, but I don't feel like Ohio gets the credit or respect that it deserves as being the pro wrestling hotbed that it is. You look at all the guys and gals that have come from this state, the John Moxleys, the Dolph Zigglers, Miz, Johnny Gargano, Sami Callihan, Alexa Bliss, Madison Rayne, Randy Savage, yourself. The list goes on and on and on and on. This is a pro wrestling factory, EC3.
Indeed, it is. And I think, Southern Ohio and Northern Ohio do have their differences, but we are kind of bonded in one way, and that's kind of the Midwest.
We all hate Columbus. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sucks. The Midwest work ethic, I'd say. And I think being from a state like Ohio, that is like a really good state, and it's a cool state, and it's a very populated state, but gets, kind of laughed at sometimes, allows you to, create that personality that, like, you don't let things bother you as much as other people who find themselves being pretentious, perhaps the Northeast, I would just imagine, So we are kind of in a hotbed. We did create a lot here. So as far as it being like A towns that draw, like you think of the Chicagos and you think of New York's, Toronto's, things like that, Dallas, Houston, like these cities that always draw. Ohio doesn't draw like them. They do if it's right, but then also you can't guarantee it, which I've noticed on a promoting aspect. So, like I said, Cleveland's a walk-up town, and but it's because we don't commit to anything until we're ready to commit, So I'm not buying tickets for anything a month in advance. Right?
No, I get that. I'm the same exact way. But regardless, this is going to be a crowd in your hometown. You grew up in suburban Cleveland, right? Just outside of Cleveland?
Correct.
How much extra oomph does it give you anytime you get to go out and perform in front of your hometown?
It's funny because I've wrestled here, whether it's independents with the WWE. Actually, I had my dark match for TNA when they were still on the road, and it was in Cleveland. But I never had a moment in Cleveland. I've had a lot. I've been able to win world championships. I've been in, quote, 5-star matches. Who cares? But I've had great moments, but I've never had anything truly resonate where I'm like, I felt it being at home. So this is an opportunity for me to knock that off. So there will be extra oomph. Also, at the same time, EC3 billed from Boca Raton, right? I was never pegged as a Cleveland guy, so a lot of people don't know I'm from here, which I've learned recently, saying, why are you here? Well, I live here. What? You're from Cleveland? Yeah. Oh, I thought you were from Florida. Well, I lived in. Long story short, like, Garganos and Zigglers and Miz's had more of their Cleveland reputation, where I did not, because it wasn't part of my identity as a wrestler or character. But now that I can finally be who I truly am, I consider Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to call it home based as my entrance town. I thought that was funny. I don't know if you get it. Home base. Everyone's talking based. I think that's funny. Home based in Cleveland, Ohio.
And you've in a sense too, you've also kind of returned home a little bit over this last year. You've been making a number of appearances in different promotions, obviously NWA being one of them, but also, Ohio Valley Wrestling, which was one of your earlier stops, which has been getting a lot of press due to the Netflix documentary, which admittedly I have not had a chance to watch it yet. I'm looking forward to it. I want to get to it, but what's it been like for you to kind of get back to your roots, so to speak?
It's getting a lot of press because of the Netflix and the fact I go there.
Yeah, well, that obviously.
No, but like it was cool when that came up. Mostly it was when you think about pandemic times, filming TV once every couple of months, it's not a ton of work. And if this is what you love to do, like not doing it kind of ruins you. So talking with Al, one thing I want to do, as I've talked about, and creating the future, is learn the aspects of managing people and talent and coaching to an extent. So in 5 to 8 years, when I hang this up, I move into that role. So going down there, that was one of the reasons. Another was because they're building a foundation and a hot product, and I knew there was things on the horizons that where, therefore, if there's buzz about this place, who's leading again? Me. And so if you think about things, I'm on 2 wrestling television productions a week practically as a world heavyweight champion, and I think this championship needs to be around the world as much as possible and seen by as many people as possible for it to regain the luster. I'm not saying it was lost, but I mean reignite it.
All right, make your final pitch. You're putting that world championship, that shiny, beautiful title, on the line in Cleveland this Saturday. Why should people be tuning in to NWA Samhain?
You ever seen a grown man die? Tune in to NWA Samhain, where I kill Thom Latimer.
Cool. We're out. I don't think we can do any better than that.
I mean, like, we are in the precipice of a new era. And what I'm a part of, and very proud to be a part of, is what we are building within the NWA. And it's a return to that simplicity, but it's not giving into, we're old school and it's going to be no, we're using what's new, evolving it into what works from the past. And I think that's the missing sauce in wrestling, where we're not getting it anywhere else. We're not getting it Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. We're not. It's just constant. It's dopamine hits. It's ad nauseum. It's practically it's porn to an extent. Where we delayed gratification, earning it, developing characters, a hot young future that, if they follow my lead, can therefore make it. But at the same time, I don't know, being the forebearer of this company now into where I want it to go and take it. For me personally, that's going to be my career calling card. So that's what I'm excited about. And Thom Latimer's, we're going to have a great match, and I'm going to win, and it's cool. But like, we're going to do the business the right way, which I think lacks from time to time. And I think the definition of what a good and a great or a 5-star match has been lost to a very small hive mind, where good, great 5-star matches come from the emotions involved and the way they make you feel when they're done.
That's got to be a cool feeling that you get to be in this position to do that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not I'm not humbled by it. It's cool.
All right, EC3, this has been a blast. Thank you so much, sir. Good luck moving forward, and I'm sure we'll chat again down the line.